Alright you guys, so today I'm going to attempt to adjust my lifters with the engine running. I've been chasing some lifter noises lately. Seems like I keep chasing them around. I'll try to fix one and another one will start making noise after a little while, and I don't know if the rocker nuts I'm using are kind of loosening or if I'm just not quite adjusting them right. My brother went through this motor when we first got it running and like loosened all these up with it running and tightened it back down and stuff, but I keep hearing like a slight little ticking noise sometimes. I'll fix it and then I'll get another one. I'm just kind of like tired of hearing it. Maybe I'm being too picky and it is what it is. I'm pretty sure it's not an exhaust noise, but just for the heck of it, I'm going to try to start this up and just loosen them up till they clack and everything, and then I'm probably going to go, the process is I'm going to just turn it until it stops ticking and making any noise, just barely, and then going to wait a few seconds, see if it stays that way, if it starts ticking again, if I have to adjust slightly, but get to where it's just not making noise. Then I'm going to go like a quarter turn, and I'll let that run for a few seconds and see if that sticks, and then if that's good, I'll probably go like one more quarter turn for like a half total. And I'm just going to do that to all of them, see if it works. Seen some other guys online do this little trick here with the cardboard. I just got it kind of stuck down in there. It doesn't really look like it's going to be rubbing on anything, so we'll see if that stops oil from spraying everywhere. Guess we'll find out, but I'm going to go start this up and get it warmed up and everything and give this a go. So far, so good. If it's catastrophically leaking or spraying anywhere, so. Don't look like the springs are rubbing the cardboard, so. Guess I'll just let this warm up a bit and we'll see how the adjustment goes. Alright, the engine's kind of loud. I don't know if you guys can hear this real well, but I want to show you the oil is pumping up here to the top, and the lifter is real nice. So getting lots of good oil up here. It's kind of just sort of building up against the cardboard there. Hopefully it doesn't like soak up into it too much before I get done, but it's going back down the return right there real nice. So getting lots of good oil up here. So once this finishes warming up some more, we'll get to work on the adjustment. Alright, so my electric fan's going and the engine's kind of noisy, but we're at about 190 degrees. The lifter down there on number one's kind of flicking a lot of oil off a bit more now that it's warmed up, but let's see if we can get this to work, try an adjustment here. Just gonna keep watching my temperature because it can get kind of warm just sitting here idling, so. I just started ticking. I don't know if you can hear it or not. So I'm just going to tighten it up a little bit until it stops. Okay, more or less right there. Wait a couple seconds here, see if it stays. And maybe just take a little bit, turn it a little bit more. that goes there. Seems okay, so I'll try a quarter turn here now. Let that sit there for a second. Getting warm in here. I'm gonna try another quarter turn. Not like that, I guess. Seems alright, so I'm going to go through and just basically do that with the rest of them and see how this works. Alright, so had the engine running. This took a little bit of time, but I went through, you know, and just it's just a 5/8 socket with a ratchet. Just slowly loosened each rocker nut till I just heard the clicking clatter noise. And then I just slowly kind of tightened it a little bit till I didn't hear that noise anymore. And I let it sit for a few seconds, just kind of let it set in or whatever. See if I noticed it making the noise some more or not. And then once it was good, I did a quarter turn. And then let that sit for a few seconds too, to just kind of set in a little. And then I did one more quarter turn. So I did that on all of them on this side. And they all seem pretty consistent as far as, you know, how tight or loose they are. I mean, those are pretty hot. But I think I'll put this valve cover back on and go drive around a little bit, see what it sounds like. I still have kind of some valve train noise, but it's not like a lifter ticking. It's just, I don't know, just valve train noise, I guess. I don't know. So we'll see how that goes. Cardboard worked pretty good. I mean, it's kind of sprayed up just kind of the top of it a little bit in a couple spots, but it didn't, like, you know, splatter out over everywhere and make a mess or anything, so I think that worked okay. I just had to notch it right here for my fuel hose, but other than that, I think it'll work. So we'll go test drive and see how it does. Okay, you guys, so as you just saw, I went through and readjusted all of the valves in the motor. Every single one of them, loosened it till it clattered, tightened it up till it didn't clatter, and then I did 2 quarter turns, so they're all adjusted to a half a turn. And I've been out driving it, and it still makes the noise. So the thing is, I probably have a lifter going bad, which really sucks because they're like brand new lifters. I only have 1,500 miles on this motor now since it was rebuilt. But I've taken the valve covers back off, and, you know, I kind of wiggle the rockers, and they're all pretty consistent. None of them are like super loose or anything like that, so I haven't really been able to adjust out the noise, so I think it's just a lifter going bad. I mean, nothing seems weird right now. I've asked a few friends that are kind of more mechanically inclined than me, and I had another buddy go for a ride with me the other day, and he said that it pretty much was just a lifter. I was kind of thinking maybe like exhaust leak possibly too, but the noise goes away when you accelerate stuff, so if it was an exhaust leak, you'd hear it all the time. It'd get louder. That's not the case. So essentially kind of what happens is, and it's not really like a bad thing necessarily, but when I'm just say like idling or I'm driving and I'm not like on the gas at all, just cruising or whatever, coasting, the engine runs between probably 15 and 20 psi of oil pressure. So that's kind of, I mean, it's not low, but that's kind of down there. So I'll hear the noise when I'm like decelerating, or if I'm kind of in an idle a little bit, I'll hear it. But when I take off, you know, I get 40 to 45 pounds of pressure and the noise stops. So if I'm on the gas, you know, going, I don't hear it. If I am just kind of going like 35 or 40 and I'm not, like I'm just kind of in the coasting zone there, like I'm not speeding up or slowing down, you know, on the gas, and it just kind of sets into like a low RPM there, the oil pressure comes down some and I kind of hear it then too. But especially like if I'm going and then I slow down, I hear the noise. It's kind of like I don't know how to describe it exactly, but it's not like a catastrophic fail, like rattle, something's, you know, going bad type of a noise. It's just more annoying than anything, I guess, really. So, you know, my buddy rode with me around the other day, and you know, he was like, "That just sounds like a lifter. If it was an exhaust noise, you know, it'd be doing something different." And you know, the lifters have like a little check ball in them or whatever for pressure, and there's like there's little oil. There's a hole in the side for oiling, right? So. In my case, I don't know that there's a dirt clogging the hole in it or not. It's probably just kind of like bleeding off some pressure. So essentially when I slow down or I'm in idle, I have low oil pressure. So the pressure in the lifter is like just bleeding past. So it has like really low pressure in it, and just oil is just like squishing out of it. That's the noise I'm hearing. You know, then when I go again, the oil pressure builds up and I don't hear it. So the lifter's just kind of got something defective going on there. I don't think it's collapsed because it doesn't rattle or really tick like super loud or anything. And I can't push on a rocker, you know, and like collapse it down or make it move or anything like that. So it still can hold pressure. It just has to be, you know, like under more RPM or whatever like that. So that's just kind of how that is, I guess. I've tried to record the noise a few times, but it's really hard to tell with my phone, and all you really hear is like the exhaust. I mean, you can kind of hear it if you know what you're listening for, but I don't know, it's hard to say. So probably what I'll do is I'll order like a set of comp lifters from Summit or something. I got just a rebuild kit for this motor when I started working on it like 3 years ago. And I'm pretty sure the lifters that came in were just some no-name box of lifters. I don't even know what brand they might have been or anything like that. So they could just be kind of junk or crappy lifters, I'm not sure. But all the comp ones on Summit have really good reviews, so I might just try those. So I'll tear this down, change the lifters. I'll have to like do break-in oil and, you know, break that in again. I guess a few people have said I can change the lifters and just re-break that in, and it won't hurt the cam or anything like that. The cam was new when I rebuilt the motor also. So I'll have to get break-in oil again, change all the lifters, get new intake gaskets, and do all that stuff. At the same time, though, my oil pan, I think, in a previous video I talked about how I put right stuff on the front of the pan to fix a leak. I think that might be leaking a slight little bit again, so I'm not sure if I really want to pull the motor and just fix that as well at the same time, or just kind of leave it. You know, my oil drain plug gasket's kind of messed up, so it leaks out of there pretty decently. And my distributor, little ring gasket thing that goes under the distributor, is kind of leaking a bit out of there too. And I also have to like change the front pump O-ring and gasket on my transmission. So a bunch of stuff I need to do that's leaking and various things. So I might just kind of tear it down, you know, just a bunch, and try to fix everything, get it back on the road again. At the same time, I don't really want to put a bunch of money into it because I really want to like save and do an LS swap later here. So the amount of money I'd put into this to fix all that wouldn't really get me there, but it's just kind of sucks spending money on repairs and stuff. But anyways, I'll hit you guys up when I start that stuff.